So if you're asked to factor this, you might say, well, I can't divide anything except for 1 out of both these numbers. And that's true, but you can picture this like a trinomial. Doesn't it still represent the same expression? 0 times y is going to be 0. So these two things are still the same. And if you rewrite it like that, then you might be able to see how you can factor it if you've had some practice before. You just need to find two numbers. Well, this is one where a is not 1, so you gotta multiply those. You need to find two numbers that multiply to be negative 16, but add up to be 0. And then you can make your replacement and factor that like normal. The two numbers we need for this, how about positive 4, negative 4. They certainly multiply to be negative 16, and they add up to be 0. So we're going to take this middle term, 0y, and change it into positive 4y minus 4y. So still the same expression, still the same, still exactly the same as what we started over here if we were to simplify. But the whole reason we expanded it is because now, if you put all four terms into two separate groups and factor by grouping, you'll be able to factor the complete expression. This one, both terms are divisible by 4, also divisible by y. So I'm going to take out 4y, and what's left over is a 4y plus 1. Okay, you did 4y, you divided a 4y out from it, that's not nothing, that's 1, okay? 4y divided by 4y, anything divided by itself is 1. Just watch out for that. And then in this one, if you stick to the good rule of thumb of keeping your parentheses positive, that's a negative 4y, so I'm going to divide out a negative 1 from that parentheses. And what's left over is 4y plus 1. And this is your goal from factoring by grouping, is to get two parentheses that match. Now that the parentheses are exactly the same, we're going to factor out the 4y plus 1, and then what's left over on the outside represents our second parentheses. So if you were to box this out, or multiply that parentheses out, it would turn back into what we started with right here. Eventually, once you do these problems enough, you'll eventually see a pattern for how to jump right to that last step. But I think until you learn that pattern, start by doing that step. Put a plus 0y, and then you can factor it like the other problems you've practiced.